Story 1, The Mirror Convoy. The 18-wheeler behind me has been matching my speed for 47 miles, and I can see my own face in its windshield. Not a reflection. My actual face, pressed against the glass from the inside, mouth open in a scream I can't hear over my engine's roar. I'm driving north on I-35 through Oklahoma, but the truck behind me is driving south, backward, impossibly keeping pace at 73 miles per hour while facing the wrong direction. My name is Robert Hayes, and I've been hauling refrigerated pharmaceuticals for 12 years. I know the difference between fatigue hallucinations and something wrong with reality itself. This is the latter. I verified it 3 exits ago when I pulled my phone out and took a picture. The photo shows my Kenworth's cab from behind, and through the windshield, there's someone who looks exactly like me, wearing the same red flannel shirt I put on this morning, gripping a steering wheel with white knuckles. The CB radio crackles. "You're going the wrong way, Robert." It's my voice. Same timbre, same slight rasp from 20 years of cigarettes I quit in 2009. I haven't touched my CB. The radio has been off since I left the Flying J in Wichita at 4:30 this morning. It's now 9:47. The sun is climbing toward noon, bright and normal, and completely indifferent to the impossible thing happening behind me. Exit 157 is coming up, my voice says through the dead radio. Don't take it. My eyes flick to the upcoming sign. Exit 157, half a mile. Ardmore, gas, food, lodging. I wasn't planning to stop, but now every fiber of my being wants to take that exit to get away from whatever is following me. That's exactly why the voice told me not to. I grip the wheel tighter. The truck behind me is closer now, maybe 30 feet from my rear doors. Close enough that I can see more details in my mirror. The other me is still screaming, but now his hands are bleeding, leaving red streaks on the steering wheel. His windshield is cracking from the inside, spiderweb patterns spreading across the glass like ice forming in fast forward. The exit ramp curves away to my right. My foot hovers over the brake. Every instinct screams to take it, to break whatever pattern this is. But instinct kept humans alive when the biggest threat was tigers and starvation, not when reality started folding wrong. I pass the exit. The truck behind me doesn't follow onto the ramp. It stays locked behind me, impossible and patient. Good, my voice says. You're learning. 3 more trucks appear in my mirror, all driving backward, all southbound in the northbound lane. The nearest one is a Freightliner, and through its windshield I see a woman who must be seeing me in her mirror, her face frozen in confusion that's rapidly shifting to terror. Behind her, a Peterbilt with a driver I can't make out clearly. Behind that, a Volvo VN with its entire windshield painted red from the inside. We're a convoy of the wrong, and I'm in the lead. My speedometer says 73, but the mile markers are coming faster now. Mile 203, then 206, then 211. We're skipping numbers, not accelerating through the gaps, just skipping them like frames cut from a film. The landscape outside doesn't blur, doesn't change, just jumps. They want to join us, my voice says. The others, they see you leading and they want to follow. I check my passenger mirror. The southbound lane, going the actual direction it's supposed to, is empty, completely devoid of traffic. It's a Friday morning in June on a major interstate, and there are no cars, no trucks, nothing but heat shimmer and pavement. Mile marker 219, then 223, then 230. We're accelerating through space itself now. I try the CB myself, keying the mic with a shaking hand. This is unit number K9R27 calling any southbound traffic on I-35. Can anyone hear me? Silence, then. There is no southbound traffic, Robert. There's only us. There's only north now. I want to pull over, but the shoulder is gone. Where it should be, there's just a smear of gray that might be concrete or might be the space between seconds. The guardrails are streaking past so fast they've become a solid line of silver. My phone buzzes. A text message from my own number. Count them. I look in the mirror. 6 trucks now, all backward, all following. I can see faces in some of them. The woman in the Freightliner is beating her fists against her windshield. The Peterbilt driver is slumped over his wheel, not moving. The Volvo's windshield isn't red anymore. It's empty, just darkness pressing against the glass. Behind them, more trucks are appearing. A daisy chain of the impossible, stretching back toward where Wichita should be but isn't anymore. Mile marker 267 flickers past, then 280, then 299. We're running out of Oklahoma, my voice says, and for the first time it sounds worried. Kansas is coming. When we cross the border, you need to make a choice. What choice? I shout at the dead radio. To let us catch you or to become the first. The first what? But I know what happens when the truck behind me gets close enough. I'll see myself more clearly, see what made my other self scream for 47 miles straight. I'll see what's wrong with me in there, what's different, what got changed. The Welcome to Kansas sign appears, and it's wrong. It's always said Welcome to Kansas in friendly blue letters. This one says Welcome to Kansas, but the letters are red and they're dripping, paint running down the sign like blood, like the sign is sweating. I cross the border at mile marker 1, which should be the first marker, but my odometer says I've traveled 193 miles since I noticed the truck behind me, which is impossible because I was only 40 miles from the Kansas border. The moment my wheels cross the state line, all 6 trucks behind me lurch forward simultaneously. The gap closes to 20 feet, then 10, then 5. I can see the other me clearly now, and I wish I couldn't. His eyes are on the wrong side of his face. Not swapped, but migrated, both of them clustered next to his right ear, leaving smooth skin where they should be. His mouth is screaming, but it's too wide, opening past where his jaw should end, splitting toward his chest. His hands on the wheel have too many fingers, and they're all bending in too many directions. He looks like me reflected through broken glass, me scattered and reassembled wrong. What are you? I scream. I'm what you're becoming, the radio says. I'm what happens when you lead the convoy. When you're first, you change to match all the others. You become the average of everyone who follows. We're all different, Robert. Different kinds of wrong, and you're averaging out to something new. I feel it then, a tingling in my left hand. I glance down and immediately wish I hadn't. My pinky finger is on the wrong side of my thumb. I didn't feel it move. It's just there now, like it's always been there, my memory rewriting itself to accommodate the change. More trucks appear behind the convoy. 17 now, 22, 38. Each one with a driver pressed against the windshield, each driver wrong in different ways. Some are missing parts, some have extra parts. One is just a collection of eyes arranged in a roughly human shape. My reflection in the rearview mirror is starting to shift. My nose is sliding left, slowly, like it's floating on the surface of my face. I reach up to touch it, and my hand has 7 fingers now. 7 fingers that feel completely normal, that my brain insists have always been there. Make the choice, my voice begs from the radio. Pull over or keep going. Pull over and let me catch you, let me show you what you'll become. Or keep going and lead us somewhere new. Mile marker 47, then 93, then 156. Kansas is stretching, the state expanding to contain us, or maybe we're compressing the distance, folding space like paper. I see an exit sign, no number, just a single word, prime. Something in my rewiring brain understands. Prime, the first. The original, the place where convoys are born, where the first trucker drove the first route and every trucker since has been following in those tire tracks, wearing grooves in reality itself. If I take that exit, I'll find out where this road really goes, where we're all really going when we haul our loads across these infinite highways. I'll see what's at the end, or the beginning, or the space between miles where the lost numbers live. My hands are too heavy now, wrong heavy. Dense with extra bones I can feel growing inside my fingers like coral. My spine is curved in a way it wasn't, hunched forward to accommodate a shape I'm becoming. The convoy behind me has grown to hundreds, thousands. Every lost trucker who ever noticed something wrong in their mirror. Every driver who looked too long at the road and saw it looking back. We're all here, all following, all changing. I take the exit. The ramp curves impossibly upward, defying physics, aiming at a sky that's suddenly full of roads. Highways crisscrossing the clouds, interchanges looping through the stratosphere, all of them full of backward trucks driving toward something I can't see yet. Welcome to the convoy, my voice says, and now it's coming from inside my own head, from a mouth that's no longer entirely mine. We've been waiting for you to find us. My truck climbs the ramp into the sky, and behind me, thousands follow. My face in the mirror is almost unrecognizable now. Almost. But my eyes, still in the center where they belong for just a few more seconds, are full of tears. The last thing I see before the change completes is a sign at the top of the ramp. It's written in letters that exist in more dimensions than I have words for, but somehow I can read it. Now entering, the prime route. All convoys merge ahead. I merge, we all merge, not our trucks, but ourselves averaging together into something that was never supposed to exist. A collective wrong, a shared impossible. And somewhere back on I-35, heading north through Normal, Oklahoma with normal mile markers, another trucker glances in his mirror and sees a backward truck that's been matching his speed for exactly 1 mile. He hasn't started counting yet. He hasn't noticed anything wrong. But he will. In 46 more miles, he will. And the convoy will grow by 1 more. Story 2, the fuel that FEEDS. My reefer unit has been running for 6 days straight without refueling, and the temperature gauge is showing negative 400 degrees. That's not Fahrenheit or Celsius. That's just negative 400, as if temperature has divorced itself from any measurement system human beings recognize. I'm hauling what my manifest says is frozen seafood from Seattle to Miami. But when I checked the trailer at a rest stop outside Boise on day 3, the cargo had turned into ice sculptures of people I used to know. Patricia Sullivan, that's my name. 31 years old, 8 years in the trucking industry, no history of mental illness, no drugs in my system. I know this because I tested myself with the emergency kit I keep in my sleeper berth. The 2 lines came up clear. I'm sober and I'm sane, which means what's happening to my cargo is real. The first sculpture was my father, who died in 2012. Perfect down to the scar on his left eyebrow from a fishing accident when he was 16. He's frozen mid-laugh, the way he looked in my favorite photograph, the one taken at my high school graduation. The ice is so clear I can see the individual threads in his shirt. The second sculpture is my ex-husband, Marcus. We divorced 4 years ago, and he's still alive as far as I know, living in Portland with his new wife. But the ice version of him is older, maybe 60 or 70, with liver spots on his hands and deep wrinkles around his eyes. He's reaching forward, fingers outstretched, his face contorted in an expression somewhere between pleading and warning. There are 47 sculptures now. I stopped checking after that because every time I open the trailer, there are more, and I'm starting to recognize people I haven't thought about in decades. My 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Chen, the boy who sat behind me in algebra, whose name I can't remember but whose face is preserved perfectly in crystalline water. A woman I passed on the street in Chicago 6 years ago, who I only remember because she was wearing a bright yellow coat. The reefer unit shouldn't be able to create ice sculptures. It's a cooling system, just machinery and refrigerant and thermodynamics. But the sound it's making isn't mechanical anymore. It's breathing. Deep, slow breaths that fog the air around the trailer even though it's 78 degrees in Nebraska on this October afternoon. I'm currently parked at a Love's truck stop outside Grand Island, and I've been sitting here for 43 minutes trying to decide if I should call my dispatcher. The problem is that I know how insane this sounds. Hey, boss, my frozen shrimp turned into ice statues of everyone I've ever met, and my trailer is breathing. They'll pull me off the road and send me for a psych eval. But the fuel gauge is what's really breaking my brain. The reefer runs on diesel, separate from my truck's main tank. It holds 50 gallons. At normal operating capacity, it burns through about 1 gallon per hour. I filled it completely in Seattle 6 days ago. By now, it should be empty. Should have been empty 4 days ago. The gauge shows full. Not just full, but overfull, the needle pressed past the maximum mark, quivering like it's trying to go higher but has run out of scale. I pop the fuel cap to check. Diesel pours out, overflowing, spilling onto the pavement in a stream that's too thick, too dark. It smells wrong, not like diesel, like copper and salt, like blood. I slam the cap closed and stumble backward. The liquid on the ground isn't dissipating. It's moving, flowing uphill, back toward the trailer, seeping under the doors. I watch it disappear into my cargo area, feeding something in there. A family walks past toward the truck stop building, a father and two kids. The father glances at my trailer, and his face goes pale. He grabs his children and hurries them inside, looking back once with an expression of pure revulsion. I walk around to see what he saw. The side of my trailer, which should be plain white aluminum with my company's logo, is covered in condensation. But the condensation has frozen into patterns. Faces, hundreds of faces pressed against the metal from the inside, mouths open, eyes wide. They're moving slowly, expressions shifting from fear to anguish to something worse. Hunger. My phone rings. The caller ID shows my own number. I don't answer. It keeps ringing. 15 times, 20, 30. I turn the phone off, but I can still hear it are. Inging, the sound coming from inside the trailer, muffled but persistent. A knock on my driver's side window makes me spin around. A state trooper, young and professional, gesturing for me to roll down the window. I do. "Ma'am, I need you to step out of the vehicle." "What's wrong, officer?" "Step out of the vehicle now." His hand is on his gun, not drawing it but ready. Behind him, 3 more patrol cars are pulling into the lot, silent, no lights. I climb down. My legs are shaking. The trooper is staring at my trailer with the same revolted expression as the father. "How long have you been hauling that?" "6 days. What's wrong with it?" "You can't see them." He's not looking at me anymore, focused entirely on the trailer. "You can't see them moving in there." I look. The faces in the frost are more defined now, pressing harder against the metal. The aluminum is starting to bulge outward, distending like skin stretched over pushing hands. "We got a call about a suspicious vehicle," the trooper says, his voice tight. "Witness said it looked like you were hauling people, living people trapped in a freezer truck." "It's seafood, just frozen seafood." But my voice cracks because I know what's in there now, and it's not seafood anymore. One of the other troopers approaches the rear doors. "Sir, I don't think you should," I start, but he's already got the latch open, the door swinging wide. Cold air rolls out, visible and wrong, too thick to be normal moisture. It carries the sound of breathing, hundreds of breaths all synchronized, all exhaling in unison. The trooper staggers back, and I see his face go from professional concern to primal terror in the span of a heartbeat. The ice sculptures are standing now, all 47 of them arranged in rows facing the door. They're still ice, still transparent and frozen, but they're standing, moving. My father in front, taking one step forward, then another, his frozen joints creaking like calving glaciers. "Close the door," I scream, but the trooper is frozen himself, staring. My father keeps walking, emerging from the trailer into the Nebraska sunlight. He should be melting. The temperature is 78 degrees and he's made of ice. But he's not melting. He's getting more solid, more real, color bleeding into the crystal, turning from clear to flesh-toned. By the time he reaches the ground, he looks alive. Looks exactly as he did the last time I saw him, 3 weeks before the cancer took him, still able to walk but obviously dying. He turns to look at me and his eyes are full of tears. "Patty," he says, and his voice is exactly right, exactly as I remember. "You have to stop feeding it." "Feeding what, Dad? What's happening?" Behind him, Marcus is climbing down from the trailer, aging as he descends, shifting from the old version to younger, cycling through different ages every few seconds. Sometimes he's the Marcus I married, sometimes the Marcus I divorced, sometimes he's Marcus as a child, as a teenager, as an old man I never saw him become. "The root is hungry," my father says. "It's always been hungry. Every mile we drive, every load we haul, we're feeding it. Most of the time it just takes a little bits of us we don't notice, memories, moments. But sometimes it gets greedy." The other sculptures are emerging now, a procession of frozen people becoming flesh. Mrs. Chen, the algebra boy, the woman in the yellow coat. People I knew for years and people I passed once on the street, all pulled from my memory and given form. The lead trooper is on his radio, voice high and tight. "We need backup. We need I don't know what we need. We have multiple individuals exiting a refrigerated vehicle. They appear to be..." He stops because there's no word for what they appear to be. My father grabs my shoulders. His hands are cold but solid, real enough to leave fingerprints. It's using your route to manifest. It's pulling from you because you've been driving the same paths for 8 years, wearing grooves in the world. You're a perfect channel. Every person you've ever known, everyone who left an impression on you, it can reach them through you. How do I stop it? You don't. You can only choose who it takes. Keep driving, and it will take everyone you've ever met, everyone you've ever seen, pulling them into the cargo until you're hauling all of human connection in frozen form. Or what? Or you give it yourself, willingly. Get in the trailer and close the door. Become the cargo. Stop feeding it your memories and just give it your body. It will consume you and then it will be satisfied for a while. A few years, maybe a decade. I look at the growing crowd of people who shouldn't be, all standing in the parking lot, all looking at me with eyes that are mine and not mine. They're pieces of me, fragments of my life given shape. If I keep driving, they'll keep coming, and eventually it will pull people who are still alive, still living their real life. Somewhere, it will take them from their bodies and freeze them in mine. Marcus at 30 approaches, reaching for me. It doesn't have to be you, he says in a voice that cycles through all his ages, child and man and elder speaking in overlapping tones. Let it have us. We're already gone. We're just memories wearing meat. But my father shakes his head. If she lets it take them, it will only get stronger. It will start taking people from other drivers, other routes. The hunger spreads. Someone has to starve it. The troopers have their guns drawn now, all 4 of them, not aiming but ready, utterly out of their depth. One is vomiting next to his patrol car. Another is crying. The young one who knocked on my window is just staring, his face gone blank with shock. I look at my trailer. The reefer unit is breathing faster now, excited, the temperature gauge spinning counterclockwise past -400 into numbers that shouldn't exist. The metal sides are bulging further, more faces pressing through, people I haven't remembered yet but who are in there somewhere, buried in my subconscious. My mother, who's still alive in Tampa, probably watching her afternoon game shows right now. If I keep driving, will her face appear in the frost? Will she be pulled from her living room into my cargo hold, frozen and aware? I walk toward the trailer. My father tries to stop me, but I shrug him off. He's not real. None of them are real. They're ice and memory and something else, something that feeds on the miles between places, on the human need to move and connect and travel. The trailer interior is bigger than it should be. Not just 48 feet long, but stretching back into a distance I can't see the end of. The ice sculptures still inside are arranged in rows that extend to infinity, faces I haven't lived long enough to remember yet, people I'll meet, and people I might have met, all possible connections made manifest and frozen. I turn to look at the parking lot one last time. The sun is setting, painting everything gold. The troopers, the truck stop. My father, who's crying now, tears freezing on his cheeks and falling as ice chips. Marcus in all his ages. Mrs. Chen, the woman in the yellow coat, all the fragments of my life. I'm sorry, I tell them. Then I close the door from inside. The darkness is immediate and absolute. The cold is beyond cold, beyond any temperature that ice should exist at. I feel it entering me, feel my body temperature dropping, feel water in my cells beginning to crystallize. The breathing sound is all around me now, inside me, my lungs synchronizing with it. I'm breathing with the hunger, becoming part of it instead of feeding it. My last thought before the cold takes my brain is that somewhere, on some highway I'll never drive, a trucker is pulling into a rest stop and checking their fuel gauge and seeing it impossibly full, and their reefer is starting to breathe, and the cycle is beginning again. But not from me, not from my cargo. I broke the chain, I starved it. The ice reaches my heart and stops it, preserves it, keeps me frozen in the moment of sacrifice. And in Tampa, my mother looks up from her game show, startled by nothing she can name, feeling suddenly that she's forgotten something important, someone important, but she can't quite remember who. The memory slides away like water, like melting ice, and within an hour she's forgotten she ever had a daughter at all. The hunger is satisfied, for now. Story 3, The Empty Way Station. The way station appears on Route 50 in Nevada exactly where it shouldn't be. between mile markers that I drove past 30 seconds ago. And when I pull onto the scale, my truck weighs negative 42,000 pounds. The digital display shows the number clearly, pounds. The scale operator's booth is empty, but the speaker crackles to life anyway, a woman's voice calm and professional, saying, "Please proceed to inspection Bay 7 for mandatory cargo verification." There is no Bay 7. I can see 3 inspection bays, all empty, all dark. But when I drive forward, following the arrows painted on the pavement, a 4th bay appears. Then a 5th. The building is growing as I approach it, unfolding like origami, adding rooms that weren't there a moment ago. My name is James Whitmore, and I'm hauling electronics from San Francisco to Denver, 44,000 pounds of servers and networking equipment. My gross vehicle weight should be 72,000 pounds. The fact that my truck weighs negative 42,000 means I'm somehow lifting, not pressing down, defying gravity by 114,000 pounds of force. Bay 7 is at the end of the building, past 6 other bays that weren't there when I entered. The door is open, a rectangle of fluorescent light spilling onto concrete that's too clean, too new. I park and climb down from my cab, and my feet don't quite touch the ground. I'm floating just millim. Turs above the pavement, enough that I can feel it, can feel the wrongness of not being fully connected to the earth. Inside the bay, a woman in a dot uniform is waiting. She's standing with perfect posture, hands clasped behind her back, and she's not blinking. I watch for 15 seconds, and her eyes don't move, don't moisten, just stare at me with absolute focus. "Mr. Whitmore," she says, consulting a clipboard that wasn't in her hands a second ago. "We've flagged your cargo for inspection. Please open your trailer." "What's the problem?" "Discrepancy in weight. Your manifest says 44,000 pounds, but our scale indicates significant negative mass. We need to verify contents." I want to point out that negative mass is impossible, that scales don't work that way. But her face is so calm, so certain, that arguing feels absurd. I walk to the trailer, and she follows exactly 3 feet behind me, never closer, never farther, as if we're connected by an invisible rod. The seal on my trailer is intact, the number matching my paperwork. I break it and open the doors, and the inside of my trailer is full of sky. Not empty, showing the metal far end of the container. Full of sky. Blue and endless, with clouds drifting past, sunlight streaming through. It's as if the trailer is a window into somewhere else, somewhere up. I can feel wind coming from inside, smell ozone and altitude. "Interesting," the woman says, making a note on her clipboard. "This explains the negative weight. Your cargo is no longer in the trailer. It's been replaced with atmosphere from approximately 35,000 feet altitude. At that pressure differential, you're essentially hauling a giant balloon." "Where are my servers?" "Above you, look up." I do. The ceiling of the inspection bay is glass, and through it I can see the night sky. Except it's not night. I drove into this way station at 2 in the afternoon under a clear Nevada sky, and now it's dark outside, full of stars. And among those stars I can see objects. Large rectangular objects tumbling slowly, reflecting starlight off their metal surfaces. My cargo containers floating in space. "How," the word comes out as a whisper. "You pass through an altitude inversion point approximately 17 miles back. The road's surface there is precisely at sea level, but due to a gravitational anomaly, vehicles traveling westbound experience a brief period of zero gravity. Most drivers never notice because it only lasts a fraction of a second. But you are carrying a very specific cargo weight, traveling at a very specific speed, and it created a resonance. Your trailer contents achieved escape velocity." She says this like it's routine, like she explains impossible physics to truckers every day. "That's not possible." "No," she agrees. "It's not, yet it happened, which means we need to determine what you're actually hauling because it's clearly not listed on your manifest." She walks to the trailer and reaches into the sky-filled interior. Her arm disappears up to the shoulder, reaching into blue nothingness, and when she pulls back, she's holding a server rack. A normal, physical server rack, exactly like the ones listed on my manifest. She sets it on the ground. "These are standard enterprise servers," she says, examining the equipment. But they're running, can you hear that? I can, a faint humming, the sound of fans and hard drives spinning. The servers are active, powered on, despite having been in an unpowered trailer traveling at highway speeds. She opens the front panel. Inside, instead of circuit boards and processors, there are people. Tiny people, maybe an inch tall, working at tiny desks, typing on tiny keyboards, living entire lives inside the server chassis. There are hundreds of them arranged in rows like cubicles, all facing screens that show code scrolling past too fast to read. "Do you know what you're hauling, Mr. Whitmore?" the woman asks. I shake my head, unable to speak. Souls, digitized consciousnesses. This is a server farm in the most literal sense. These people were uploaded, their minds converted to data and housed in silicon. And someone is shipping them from San Francisco to Denver, probably to be installed in a data center where they'll process information for eternity without knowing they're dead. One of the tiny people looks up from their desk directly at me. Their face is too small to see clearly, but I feel their eyes, feel the weight of their awareness. They're raising a hand, waving, trying to get my attention. Then the woman closes the panel and the moment breaks. "This is a Class 7 reality violation," she continues, checking boxes on her clipboard. "Transporting conscious entities without proper documentation. I'll need to impound your cargo." I didn't know. The manifest said electronics, just electronics. They are electronics. They're just also people. The paperwork should have listed them as DUA. L-state cargo. Failure to do so is a federal offense. She pulls out a phone and starts making a call, but I notice her fingers don't actually press any numbers. She's pantomiming, going through the motions of calling someone while the phone remains dark and silent. "I'm placing you under inspection hold," she says, phone still pressed to her ear, still not actually connected to anyone. "You'll need to remain in Bay 7 until a specialized recovery team can." The lights go out, all of them simultaneously, plunging the inspection bay into darkness. The only light comes from the trailer, the blue sky inside it now showing sunset, orange and purple clouds drifting past. "That's not supposed to happen," the woman says, and for the first time her voice has emotion. Fear. Something moves in the darkness of the bay, something large, displacing air, breathing with a sound like wind through a tunnel. I back toward my truck and the woman grabs my arm. Her hand is ice cold, unnaturally so, and when I look at her in the dim light from the trailer, I see frost forming on her uniform. "Don't leave Bay 7, she whispers. "If you leave, you'll exit into the wrong version of the way station. There are multiple versions overlapping here. That's why we can inspect impossible cargo. We exist in the cracks between what's real and what isn't. But if you leave without being dismissed, you'll exit into one of the other versions, and some of them are very unpleasant." "What's in here with us?" "The previous inspector. He tried to process a load of frozen time. It thawed." The thing in the darkness moves closer. I can smell it now, a scent like ozone and rust and something organic that's been cold for too long. The woman pulls me behind the server rack, and we crouch there, hiding from whatever hunts in this impossible building. "We need to reclassify your cargo," she whispers. "If we can get it properly categorized, the system will accept it and let you go, but I need to examine more servers." She crawls toward the trailer, moving silently across the concrete. I follow, not wanting to be alone in the dark. The thing behind us breathes again, closer now, its exhalation stirring my hair. The woman reaches into the sky-filled trailer and pulls out another server. This one is different. When she opens it, instead of tiny people at desks, there are landscapes. Entire worlds rendered in miniature, mountains and rivers and cities all existing inside a chassis the size of a briefcase. I can see weather patterns moving across the continents, see day and night cycling every few seconds. "Reality simulations," she says. "Someone is shipping entire universes, and the people in the first server aren't workers, they're inhabitants. You're not hauling data processing equipment, Mr. Whitmore, you're hauling populated worlds." The implications crash into me. 44,000 pounds of servers, each one containing universes, each universe containing billions of conscious entities living and dying, and never knowing they exist in a truck driving across Nevada. How many, I ask? 3,842 servers per pallet, 26 pallets, approximately 100,000 servers. Each server runs between 50 and 80 individual universe simulations. You're hauling roughly 7 million universes. The total population is incalculable. The thing in the darkness roars, and it's not an animal sound. It's the sound of time itself protesting, of seconds screaming as they're torn apart. The woman shoves the server back into the trailer and slams the doors, plunging us into complete darkness. It knows, she says. It knows what you're carrying. Time can't exist properly around that much compressed reality. You've been breaking causality every mile you've driven. What do I do? Deliver them, drive through the night, don't stop, don't look in the mirrors. The route from here to Denver is compromised now. You've damaged it just by traveling it. Reality is thin along that path, and things will bleed through. But if you can reach the destination, if you can offload the cargo, the route might heal. And if it does? She doesn't answer. The thing in the darkness is right behind us now, so close I can feel its cold radiating against my back. The woman pushes me toward my truck, and I run, feet barely touching the ground, floating in the negative gravity my cargo has created. I climb into my cab and start the engine. The headlights come on, illuminating the inspection bay, and I see it. The previous inspector. He's spread across time, his body stretched into a long streak of existence, his face repeated every few feet, aging and de-aging simultaneously. He's living every moment of his life at once, childhood and old age and death all occupying the same space. His mouth is open in a scream that echoes across decades. The woman is standing by the bay door, clipboard clutched to her chest, frost spreading across her I form until she's encased in ice. She raises one frozen hand in a gesture that might be a wave or a warning. I drive. The bay door opens into a highway that is Route 50, isn't any road on any map. It's night and day simultaneously, the sun and moon occupying the same sky, casting double shadows. Other trucks pass me going both directions on the same lane, phasing through my vehicle like ghosts. In my mirrors, I can see the way station receding, but it's changing as I watch, cycling through different architectures. Sometimes it's the building I entered. Sometimes it's a massive Gothic cathedral. Sometimes it's just a hole in the ground with light spilling out. My CB radio activates. Voices pour through, hundreds of them speaking in languages I don't recognize. Then one voice cuts through the chaos, speaking English. Hauler of worlds, your cargo is waking. They know they're moving. They're trying to escape. I glance back at my trailer. The sides are bulging, distorting, as if something inside is pushing against reality itself. I can hear it now, a sound like thunder, like the birth of storms. 7 million universes, all aware suddenly that they're being transported, all trying to break free. The route ahead splits into infinite paths, every possible road I might take branching into existence simultaneously. I have to choose, have to pick one version of the highway and commit to it. I close my eyes and drive blind, letting the truck decide, letting the cargo guide me. When I open my eyes again, I'm on a normal highway, the sun normal in a normal sky, and my negative weight is gone. The truck feels heavy again, properly connected to the earth. But I know what I'm carrying now. Know that in my trailer, universes are collapsing and being born every second. Know that when I deliver this cargo, someone will plug these servers into a network, and 7 million realities will continue oblivious. And somewhere behind me, a way station exists in the cracks between what's real, and an inspector made of ice is still processing cargo that shouldn't exist, will process it forever, because time doesn't work right in Bay 7. I drive through the night toward Denver, and in my mirror, I swear I can see stars falling from my trailer, tiny points of light that might be entire civilizations winking out of existence every time I hit a pothole. The woman's last words echo in my memory. The root might heal. Might not will, might. And I realize that I'm not just a trucker anymore. I'm a wound in reality, driving across a landscape I've irreparably damaged, hauling cargo that bends space and time around it. When I finally reach the delivery address in Denver, it's an empty lot. Just dirt and weeds. No warehouse, no receiving dock. Just a hole in the ground with stairs leading down. I back up to it anyway. Open my trailer. The sky inside is gone, replaced with normal cargo space, but the servers are glowing now, all of them, pulsing with light in patterns that might be breathing or might be screaming. I disconnect my trailer and drive away, leaving 7 million universes sitting in an empty lot, waiting for someone to claim them. And as I pull onto the highway heading back west, I see in my mirror that the hole in the ground is closing, the earth swallowing my trailer, pulling it down into somewhere below the world. I never got paid for that delivery. When I called my dispatcher, they had no record of the load. Said I'd been off duty for 3 days, hadn't moved from a truck stop in Reno. But I have the wait station ticket. I keep it in my wallet. It shows negative 42,000 pounds, and at the bottom, stamped in red ink, it says, "Cargo accepted for transport into Zone Null. Driver absolved of responsibility. Reality damage minimal. Route healed 73%. 73%. I damaged reality by 27% just by driving a straight line from California to Colorado. I still drive trucks, still haul cargo, but now I weigh every load twice, once on the scale, once in my gut. And sometimes, late at night on empty highways, I see weigh stations that aren't on any map, their lights blinking in patterns that might be Morse code or might be warnings. I never stop at those. I've learned my lesson. Whatever they're inspecting in there, it's not meant for drivers who want to stay human. Story 4, The Listening Cargo. The pallet in position 4B started whispering my daughter's name 3 hours ago, and now all 48 pallets are doing it. A chorus of my child's name in voices that sound like wind through broken glass. Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. I'm driving through Montana on I-90, hauling what the manifest calls bulk manufactured goods. But what I'm actually hauling is listening, patient, and knows things about me that I've never told anyone. Marcus Chen, age 42, 17 years in long-haul trucking. Divorced. Daughter Sarah, age 9, lives with her mother in Portland. I see her twice a month when my routes allow. Last time was 3 weeks ago. She told me about her new pet hamster, about her math teacher, about the nightmare she had where I drove away and never came back. The cargo is whispering about that nightmare now, telling it back to me in perfect detail, including parts Sarah didn't mention, parts she couldn't have known I was thinking. The cargo knows I was relieved when I left, relieved to get away from her mother's judging looks, relieved to be alone on the road again. It's whispering my guilt at me in my daughter's voice. I picked up this load in Seattle yesterday afternoon. 48 identical pallets, each wrapped in black plastic, each labeled only with alphanumeric codes. The shipper was a warehouse with no signs, no company name, just an address in an industrial park south of the airport. A man in a gray coverall used a forklift to load my trailer while another man watched me with eyes that never blinked. "Don't stop," the watching man said when they finished. "Don't open the trailer, don't inspect the cargo, drive straight to the destination. No detours, no delays." Standard sketchy shipping instructions. I've hauled plenty of loads I suspected weren't entirely legal, contraband cigarettes and gray market electronics, and once, I'm pretty sure, a very large quantity of cash. I'm not proud of it, but the money's good and I don't ask questions. This load pays $20,000 for a 2-day drive. That's 10 times the normal rate. The paperwork is immaculate, all the permits and documentation perfect. But the destination is just coordinates, not an address. A point in rural North Dakota, 230 miles from the nearest town. The whispering started somewhere near Spokane. Just my name at first, faint enough that I thought I was imagining it. Marcus, Marcus, like someone gently trying to wake me. Then it started saying other things, my social security number, my mother's maiden name, the name of my first dog, facts about my life delivered in a whisper that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. By the time I reached Missoula, it was speaking in full sentences, telling me about things I'd forgotten, childhood memories that surfaced as the words touched my ears. The time I stole $5 from my mother's purse when I was 7. The girl I kissed at summer camp when I was 13. The moment, 3 years ago, when I almost didn't turn the wheel fast enough and nearly drove off a cliff, and I felt something that might have been relief. Now it's telling me about Sarah. Every moment I've spent with her. Every moment I've missed. Every time I chose the road over her, told myself it was for the money, for her future, knowing deep down that I just didn't want to be there, didn't want to pretend to be a father when I felt like a stranger wearing a dad costume. You left her at the zoo, the cargo whispers in perfect unison, 48 pallets speaking as one. July 19th, 2021, you were supposed to meet her at the Tiger exhibit at 3 o'clock. You got a call about a load. You took it. You called Julia and said you'd be late. You weren't late. You were gone. Sarah waited until the zoo closed. She cried. You know this because Julia told you, her voice cold with fury. But you don't know what Sarah thought. Would you like to know? No, I say to my empty cab, but the cargo doesn't care. She thought you were dead. She thought something had happened to you. She made Julia drive the route from your apartment to the zoo, looking for your truck in a ditch, looking for an accident. She was 8 years old and she spent 4 hours convinced her father was dead. When you finally called, when she heard your voice, she felt relief and then rage and then something worse. Resignation. The knowledge that you would always do this, always leave, always pick something else over her. I want to stop, want to pull over and open the trailer and see what the hell is whispering at me. But I remember the gray coverall man's instructions. Don't stop. Don't open the trailer. And something in his eyes suggested those weren't recommendations. The Montana landscape rolls past, endless plains under a sky so big it makes me feel insignificant. Appropriate. The cargo is making me feel insignificant too, reducing my life to a series of failures and absences. She's going to stop asking to see you, the whisper continues. In 3 years, maybe 4, she'll hit 13 and decide she doesn't need a father who's never there. Julia won't fight it, she'll be relieved. And you'll tell yourself it's natural, teenagers need space, but you'll know the truth. You trained her to not need you. You taught her that people leave. That's your legacy, Marcus, not the money you send, not the birthday cards from truck stops. The lesson that love is conditional on proximity, and you are never proximate. My hands are shaking on the wheel. I've had thoughts like this. Dark thoughts at 3 a.m. in truck stop parking lots, but hearing them spoken aloud in my daughter's voice is breaking something inside me. The cargo knows exactly where to push, exactly which wounds to press on. What are you? I shout at the trailer behind me. We are listening, 48 voices respond in perfect synchronization. We are memory and guilt and truth. We are everything you carry that isn't cargo. Every driver carries us. Every person carries us. But usually we're silent. Usually we stay inside. You, Marcus Chen, are transporting us outside, giving us physical form, taking us from one place that listens to another place that listens. We are condensed awareness, compressed human experience, packaged and shipped like any other commodity. I grab my CB radio, desperate for human contact, for a voice that isn't the cargo. This is Unit 47 Tango calling any driver on I-90 eastbound. Does anyone copy? Static, then a voice, male, tired. I copy 47 Tango, what's your 20? Mile marker 114, just past Alberton. You. Mile marker 114, right behind you. I check my mirrors. The highway behind me is empty, no vehicles visible all the way to the horizon. I don't see you. I know I can't see you either, but I'm right here. I've been right here for hours, driving the same mile marker over and over. The cargo is keeping me here. Your cargo is talking to you too. Yeah, his voice breaks. Telling me about my son, he died 4 years ago, overdose. The cargo knows what his last words were, the ones he said when he was alone, when he knew he was dying. I wasn't there. I was on the road, always on the road. And now I'm stuck here listening to his final moments on repeat, trying to reach mile marker 115 but never getting there. The radio cuts to static, then another voice, female. I'm at marker 87, been here for 6 days. The cargo told me about every lie I ever told, every promise I broke. It showed me the faces of people I hurt. Now it's showing me what their lives became because of me. The ripples, the consequences. I can't move forward until I've seen them all, and there are so many. More voices join, a cascade of drivers all stuck on their respective mile markers, all trapped by cargo that listens and remembers and speaks. Dozens of trucks spread across Montana and Idaho and Washington, all hauling the same thing, all frozen in place by the weight of their own guilt. "What happens when we deliver it?" I ask. Silence, then the first male voice. "I don't think we deliver it, I think it delivers us." The cargo whispers, "Correct. The destination is not a place, it's a state, a condition. When you reach the coordinates, you'll understand what you've been carrying all along." I'm approaching a rest area. Every instinct screams to pull in, to abandon the truck, to run. But I know that won't work. The cargo isn't in the trailer, it's in me. It's been in me all along. The pallets are just mirrors, reflecting back what I carry every day. I pass the rest area and keep driving. The whispers intensify, now speaking in multiple voices. Sarah, Julia, my mother, my father, my brother who stopped talking to me 5 years ago over a loan I never repaid. All the people I've disappointed, all the relationships I've let wither through neglect and distance. "You could change," the cargo suggests. "You could turn around right now, drive to Portland, show up at Julia's door, tell Sarah you're done with long haul, that you're staying close. You could choose differently." And if I do, if I abandon this load, someone else will pick it up. The listening always finds a carrier, but you'd be free. You'd have a chance to build something instead of running from it. It's tempting, so tempting I nearly take the next exit, nearly turn this truck around. But I know myself. I know that even if I showed up in Portland, even if I made promises, I'd eventually leave again. The road is who I am. The distance is what I choose. I'm delivering it, I say. I'm seeing this through. The cargo sighs, 48 pallets exhaling in unison, and the sound is almost disappointed. "Then we'll show you the rest, everything you've been avoiding." The landscape outside changes. It's still Montana, still I-90, but overlaid on the real world are images, scenes from my life rendered in translucent film. I see Sarah's birth, see myself in the hospital holding this tiny person and feeling terrified. See myself taking a load 2 weeks later, relieved to escape the crying and the diapers and the responsibility. See Julia's face hardening over years of absences. See Sarah's school plays where my seat was empty. Her birthday parties where I called instead of coming. The times she asked when Daddy would be home and Julia didn't have an answer. The evolution from Daddy's working to Daddy's busy to just, I don't know. See the future too. Sarah at 16 not calling on Father's Day. Sarah at 22 graduating college, Julia in the crowd but my seat empty because I'm on a load, always on a load. Sarah at 28 getting married, the father-daughter dance replaced with a moment of silence for the parent who couldn't be here. See my own death. Alone in a truck stop, heart attack at 63, found by a lot lizard making her rounds. No one at the funeral except Julia, older and tired, and Sarah, who cries not from grief but from the waste of it all, the senseless waste of a relationship that could have been something. "This is what you're hauling," the cargo whispers. "Your own future, your own endings. We are the consequences of your choices, given form and weight, and you're delivering us to the place where all roads end, where all drivers eventually arrive. The coordinates in North Dakota are just a focus point. The real destination is inside you." I'm crying now, tears blurring the road ahead, but I keep driving. Because stopping would mean facing this, really facing this, and I'm not strong enough. The road is easier. The distance is safer. Mile marker 200, then 250, then 300. Montana blurs into North Dakota and the landscape flattens further, becomes emptiness punctuated by nothing. The coordinates grow closer. Other trucks appear on the road now, all of them heading the same direction. I recognize some from the CB conversation, drivers who found the strength to move past their mile markers, to drive through their guilt toward whatever waits at the end. We form a convoy, 15 trucks, all hauling listening cargo, all heading to deliver ourselves. The coordinates resolve into a structure on the horizon. Not a building, but a whole, a perfect circular absence in the world, dark and waiting. The convoy slows as we approach, each truck taking position around the perimeter. A figure emerges from the hole, the man in the gray coverall from Seattle or his twin or his essence. He walks to each truck, checking manifests, nodding approval. When he reaches me, he smiles. "You made it, most do eventually. The listening is patient." What happens now? You back up to the edge, you disconnect your trailer, and you drive away. The cargo stays, it always stays. What you've been carrying, all the guilt and regret and missed chances, it goes into the hole, and you become lighter, able to choose differently. And if I don't want to give it up, if I want to keep carrying it? He shrugs. Then you drive away with the trailer still attached. Most drivers can't. The weight becomes too much eventually, but some do. Some people prefer the familiar pain of old guilt to the terrifying freedom of letting it go. I sit in my cab for a long time, engine idling, decision pending. The cargo is silent now, waiting. Sarah's voice is gone. Julia's anger is gone, just silence and possibility. I think about my daughter, about the future the cargo showed me, about the Father's Day phone calls that will never come if I keep choosing the road. I put the truck in reverse, back up to the hole, get out and disconnect the trailer. Watch as it tips backwards, sliding into the darkness, taking 48 pallets of listening cargo with it, taking my guilt, my regret, my accumulated failures. It hurts like cutting off a limb. That guilt was part of me, part of my identity. Without it, I'm not sure who I am. But I'm lighter, literally, measurably lighter. When I climb back into my cab, the truck feels different, less burdened. I drive away from the hole, away from the convoy, onto a highway that leads back west, toward Portland, toward Sarah, toward a choice I've never had the courage to make before. The cargo is gone, but the knowledge remains. I know what I've been carrying, know what I delivered to that hole in North Dakota. And I know that if I fall back into old patterns, if I choose the road over my daughter again, there will be another load waiting, another manifest, another cargo that listens and remembers and speaks. I'm not cured, I'm just given a chance. What I do with it is up to me. The CB crackles one last time. The gray coverall man's voice. Safe travels, Marcus. We'll see you again most likely. The listening is always here, always waiting, always ready to be hauled when the weight gets too heavy to carry inside. I turn off the CB. Focus on the road, on the miles between me and Portland. Between me and a daughter who might not want to see me, who has every reason to turn me away. But I'm going to try. For the first time in 9 years, I'm going to choose her over the distance. And if I fail, if I find myself in that Seattle warehouse again, signing on to haul another load of listening cargo, at least I'll know I tried. At least I'll have this moment, driving west into the sunset, trailer empty, heart full of terrified hope. The road stretches ahead, endless and forgiving and dangerous as ever. But today, just for today, I'm not running toward it. I'm running home. Story 5, The Mile THAT Eats. Mile marker 393, on I-70 in Kansas, has been lasting. For 47 minutes, and my odometer says I've traveled 73 miles during that time. But the marker never changes, never ticks over to 394, just stays fixed in my headlights like a taunt. I'm Jennifer Morrison, 51 years old, 23 years behind the wheel, and I've driven this route hundreds of times, but tonight the mile is eating distance, consuming the road ahead and leaving only itself. My fuel gauge agrees with my odometer. I've burned through 3/4 of a tank driving 70 miles without advancing a single mile. The math doesn't work, can't work. But the gauge doesn't lie, and neither does the churning in my gut that tells me something is fundamentally wrong with this stretch of highway. The Kansas prairie spreads dark on both sides, no lights except the stars and my headlamps. No other traffic. I haven't seen another vehicle in over an hour, which is unusual but not impossible on this route at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. What is impossible is the way the landscape repeats. There's a dead tree on the right shoulder, branches bare and twisted. I passed it 34 minutes ago. I'm passing it again now. Same tree, same specific pattern of branches, same shadow. The mile is looping, feeding me the same slice of road over and over, but my truck is consuming real fuel, burning real diesel to travel fake distance. I tried calling 911 12 minutes ago. The dispatcher answered, professional and calm, took down my information, then asked me to describe my exact location. I said mile marker 393, I-70 westbound. She said there's no such marker on that highway. Said I-70 in Kansas only goes up to 423 and marker 393 doesn't exist. I'm looking at it right now. Metal post, reflective numbers, real and solid as anything I've ever seen. Ma'am, we're showing your phone location as this can't be right. You're not on I-70. According to GPS, you're 73 miles north of the highway in the middle of farmland. Is this some kind of prank? I hung up, called my dispatcher instead. He answered on the first ring, voice thick with sleep. Jen, it's 2 in the morning. What's wrong? I'm stuck. I-70, mile marker 393. I've been driving for almost an hour, but I'm not moving. 393, that marker doesn't, he stopped. Silence. Then, Jesus, Jen, get off the highway, take the next exit. Get off that mile right now. What's going on? There's a memo. Company-wide, sent out 6 months ago. I thought it was bullshit, some kind of joke. It said if you ever encounter a mile marker that doesn't exist, you're caught in a predation zone. The road is hunting. You need to exit immediately. I haven't seen an exit. They should be every 10 miles. You're saying you've driven for an hour and there's been no exit. Nothing, just road, just this mile. He was quiet for a long moment. The memo said that too, said the predation zones eliminate exits, trap you in a loop. It feeds on travel, on the act of moving. The more you drive, the stronger it gets. You're supposed to stop, put the truck in park, turn off the engine, wait for dawn. And then what? The memo didn't say, just said to wait for dawn. I'm sorry, Jen, I don't know what else to tell you. I'll call you back, try to get more information. Just stop driving, stop feeding it. He hung up. I stare at mile marker 393, at the dead tree coming up again on my right, at the road that stretches endlessly ahead while going nowhere. I put the truck in neutral, let it coast. The marker stays where it is, fixed in space as my speed drops. 65, 58, 41. The tree passes on my right for the 11th time. At 23 miles per hour, something changes. The road begins to curve. Not the physical pavement, but reality itself, the straight highway bending like light through a lens. The marker starts to drift left, sliding off the shoulder, moving through the prairie. I can see it out there, the metal post walking through the tall grass, numbers still reflecting my headlights. I hit the brakes. The truck shudders to a stop. The marker stops too, maybe 60 feet away now, standing in a wheat field where it has no business being. In my side mirror, I see another marker behind me. Mile marker 393, and behind that, another one. The markers are multiplying, copying themselves, spreading across the landscape like a rash. Dozens of them, hundreds, all showing the same number, all identical. I kill the engine like my dispatcher said. The sudden silence is oppressive, broken only by the tick of cooling metal and my own breathing. Through the windshield, I watch the markers. They're not moving anymore, but they're pulsing, glowing faintly, all of them synchronized, brightening and dimming like breathing. My phone rings, dispatcher, I answer. I talk to headquarters, talk to someone in safety. Jen, you need to listen very carefully. Whatever you do, don't look in your sleeper berth. What, why? Just don't, the predation zones. They don't just trap you physically, they replicate, they make copies. Of the road, of the marker, of other things. If you look in your sleeper, you might see something that looks like you. It's not. It's the zone trying to replace you to become you. If you acknowledge it, if you react to it, it gains solidity. I feel cold sweat break out across my back. My sleeper berth is directly behind my seat, separated by a curtain. I haven't looked back there since I stopped, haven't checked. How do I know if it's there? You can't check, that's the point. You have to sit there until dawn, not looking back, not acknowledging anything except what's in front of you. The zone feeds on attention. Starve it. 4 hours until sunrise. You can last 4 hours. And if I can't, if I look, then you'll see yourself, and the self you see will be driving, will be on the correct mile marker continuing toward your destination. And you'll realize that you're not in your truck anymore. You're out in the wheat field, standing next to a mile marker that doesn't exist. And the zone will have won. It will have replaced you, taken your route, your truck, your life. The phone cuts out. I grip the steering wheel, staring straight ahead, forcing my eyes to stay forward. The markers in the field are still pulsing, their rhythm matching my heartbeat now. I hear something behind me, a rustle of fabric, the sound of someone shifting in the sleeper berth, adjusting position, getting comfortable. The sounds I make every night when I bed down in the back. Don't look, don't look, don't look. Long night, a voice says from behind the curtain. My voice, Jennifer Morrison's voice. We should get back on the road, lots of miles to cover. I clench my jaw, say nothing. Focus on the windshield, on the darkness beyond. I know you can hear me, the voice continues. I'm you, or I'm what you're becoming. The zone needs a driver, Jennifer, someone to pilot this mile forever to keep it fed. You've been chosen. You should feel honored. The curtain rustles. I see movement in my peripheral vision, someone leaning forward, but I don't turn, can't turn. Look at me, the voice says, and now it's not quite my voice anymore. It's deeper layered, as if multiple people are speaking in unison. Look at me and let me show you what you've been driving toward all these years. Let me show you the destination. My hands are shaking. I press them flat against the wheel, knuckles white. 3 hours and 47 minutes until dawn. I can last. I have to last. Something touches my shoulder. Cold fingers, too many of them, pressing through my shirt. I keep staring forward, even as the fingers tighten, even as they start to pull, trying to turn me around. If you don't look willingly, I'll make you look, the not-me says. I'm patient. I've been eating miles for 17 years. I can wait 3 more hours, can you? The fingers dig deeper. I feel them pushing through my shirt, through my skin, curling around my shoulder bone. The pain is exquisite, sharp and cold and spreading. But I don't turn, don't look back, don't acknowledge. The hand retreats, the curtain falls closed, silence. For 17 minutes, nothing happens. I breathe, count my breaths. Try not to think about the thing in my sleeper berth, the thing wearing my face, the thing that's been eating this mile for 17 years and wants me to join it. Then I see her in my side mirror, standing in the wheat field next to one of the markers. A woman in a trucker's uniform, 1980s style, bright patches and bell bottoms. She's staring at my truck, face slack, eyes empty. Her CB radio mic is still in her hand, cord dangling, connected to nothing. As I watch, another figure appears. A man, 1960s style, crew cut and work boots. Then another, 1990s, and another, 2000s. Drivers from different eras, all standing among the markers, all staring at my truck. They're the ones who looked, the ones who turned around and saw themselves and realized they'd been replaced. They've been standing in this wheat field for decades, trapped in the mile that eats, watching as other drivers make the same choice they did. I want to look away, but I can't. The mirror is safe, isn't it? I'm not turning around, not acknowledging the thing in my sleeper. I'm just looking at ghosts in a field. The figures move closer, slowly, one step every few seconds, advancing on my truck. The woman from the 80s reaches the passenger door, presses her face against the window. Her skin is gray, eyes clouded. She's been standing in this field for 40 years, and it shows. She mouths words, "Don't look back." The others reach my truck, surrounding it, pressing against the doors and sides. Dozens of them now. All the drivers who have been caught in this mile over the decades. All of them trying to warn me, to help me resist the thing that wears my face. But they're also feeding it. I realize that now. The zone doesn't just eat miles, it eats drivers, pulls them from their roots and plants them here, makes them part of the landscape, part of the trap for the next victim. These people are prisoners and bait simultaneously. The thing in my sleeper berth laughs. You're starting to understand. Good. You're wondering if Dawn will actually save you, or if Dawn is just another lie, another part of the zone. You're wondering if time works normally here, or if I've been eating hours the same way I eat miles. I check my phone, 2:47 a.m., 3 minutes since I last checked, which feels like it's been 20. Time is moving wrong. Elastic, 3 hours until dawn might be 3 days, might be 3 minutes, no way to know. The dead drivers press harder against my truck. The woman from the 80s is pointing at my side mirror, gesturing urgently. She's trying to show me something. I shift my eyes to look. In the mirror, I can see my sleeper berth curtain. It's open now. And sitting in my bed, exactly where I should be sleeping on a normal night, is me. Jennifer Morrison, age 51, exhausted from the road, lying down for a rest. That version of me looks peaceful, real, more real than I feel right now. The me in the mirror opens her eyes, looks directly at the mirror, which means she's looking at me. She smiles, mouths, "Let me drive, you're so tired, let me take over." And I am tired, so tired. 23 years of highways and deadlines and truck stop coffee, my back hurts, my eyes ache. The woman in the mirror looks rested, ready, capable. She could drive this route, could deliver this load, could live this life better than I'm living it. All I have to do is turn around, look directly at her instead of through the mirror, acknowledge her existence. Let her step forward while I step back, into the wheat field, into rest, into an eternity of standing among the markers while someone else lives my life. It would be so easy. The woman from the 80s slams her fist against my window. The sound snaps me back. I tear my eyes away from the mirror, force them forward, onto the windshield, onto the darkness ahead. "No," I say aloud. "This is my life, my route, my truck. You can't have it." The thing in the sleeper berth screams, not with my voice anymore, but with something ancient and hungry, a sound like tires on gravel amplified 1,000 times. The truck shakes. The markers in the field pulse faster, brighter, their rhythm chaotic now. The dead drivers scatter, running into the wheat, disappearing. They know what's coming. The road ahead begins to crack. Real, physical cracks spreading across the pavement like lightning, glowing from within. The asphalt is splitting open, and underneath there's not dirt or concrete foundation. There's more road. Infinite layers of highway stacked on top of each other, all the miles that have been eaten over the years compressed into geological strata. Mile 393 is rising from the cracks. Not the marker, but the mile itself, pulling free of the highway, becoming three-dimensional. A cube of space 1 mile long, containing road and air and the ghosts of every truck that's ever driven it. It's towering above my vehicle, a monument of compressed distance, and it's falling toward me. I start the engine, floor the accelerator. The truck lurches forward, tires screaming, and for one impossible moment I'm not moving. The mile is holding me, keeping me in place. Then something gives, some fundamental law reasserts itself, and I break free. The speedometer climbs. 40, 60, 80. The mile is collapsing behind me, falling into the cracks in the road, and I can see it in my mirrors, see the highway imploding, following me, eating itself as it chases. Mile marker 394 appears. Real, solid, normal. I pass it at 93 miles per hour, and it doesn't move, doesn't follow, stays fixed where it belongs. 395, 396, 397. The markers are counting up now, properly, the world working the way it should. The collapse stops at 393. I watch in my mirror as that section of highway folds into itself, creating a depression in the road, a dip that will probably be there forever, unexplained, written off as settling or poor construction. I slow down, resume normal speed. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely hold the wheel. The sleeper berth curtain is closed. I don't know if there's anything back there. Don't know if the thing wearing my face retreated when I broke free or if it's still there, waiting, patient. I'm too afraid to check. I drive for 3 more hours, until sunrise paints the Kansas prairie gold and red. I drive past Topeka, past Kansas City, across the border into Missouri. Only then, in a truck stop parking lot with dozens of other trucks around me, with full daylight and the sounds of normal human activity, do I dare to open the sleeper curtain. It's empty, just my unmade bed, my pillow, my scattered belongings. No doppelganger, no zone remnant, just normal sleeper berth in a normal truck. But on my pillow there's something that wasn't there before. A mile marker sign, miniature, maybe 6 inches tall. The numbers say 393, and in very small print at the bottom it says, "Thank you for visiting. Please come again. A mile that eats doesn't let you go. Not really, it just waits." Every time I pass mile marker 393 on any highway now, I feel it pulling, inviting, hungry. The number follows me, shows up on exits that should be different numbers, on building addresses. On receipts. Always 393. The zone marked me, and one day when I'm tired enough, broken enough, desperate enough to rest, I'll find myself back there. Back in that eternal loop. And maybe next time I'll look in the mirror. I'll turn around. Maybe next time I'll let the other me drive. I throw it away in the truck stop dumpster, watch it sink into the garbage. But that night when I make my bed, it's back on my pillow. Same sign, same message. I've thrown it away 47 times now. It keeps coming back. Because, TH,